Cartoon character that started out as an internet meme is now being called a symbol of hate by the Anti-Defamation League, and Pepe the Frog is also being linked to the Trump campaign. Here to discuss, Kayleigh McEnany, a Trump supporter, Betsy McCoy, the former Lieutenant Governor of New York, also a Trump supporter, senior political commentators Bakari Sellers and Bob Becko, both Clinton supporters. Welcome to the panel, all of you. Betsy McCoy, you first. The ADL, the Anti-Defamation League, says that Pepe the Frog is a hate symbol used by white supremacists and others in the alt-right movement. What's your reaction?
I can't believe that when labor participation rates are the lowest in 50 years, so many people are out of work, and in the Middle East, Christians are being beheaded and hung from meat hooks, that the Clinton campaign wants to talk about a cartoon frog.
Okay, so...
Ridiculous. It's shameful. They're doing anything to distract voters from the real issues, because it's impossible for Hillary Clinton to run on the economic record of Barack Obama or to run on the situation of the Middle East, which is in chaos because of the Obama-Clinton foreign policy.
Bakari, is this just the Clinton campaign doing this?
No, not at all. I mean, we understand that there's chaos around the world, and we can talk about the reasons why. We also know that your economic outlook is not totally true or honest. We know that the middle class has made gains, unemployment's down, stock market's doing well. But, you know, with all that being said, none of that gives rise or gives you the ability to blatantly be anti-Semitic. It doesn't allow you to be racist. It doesn't allow you to be xenophobic. So what we're starting to see is that the Trump campaign, not the entire campaign, and I'm not even sure you can actually blame this on Donald Trump per se or his campaign per se, but we have seen that Donald Jr. and Eric have been some of the least effective surrogates that they have, because they oftentimes find themselves bungled and making mistakes such as this.
But considering the bigger picture here, if it was just the tweets of a frog, a cartoon frog, maybe that would be one thing. But there is a much bigger context, including the birther lie, and then Michelle Obama fired back, the First Lady today. Listen to this, and then we'll discuss.
And then, of course, there are those who questioned and continue to question for the past 8 years whether my husband was even born in this country. And let me say, hurtful, deceitful questions deliberately designed to undermine his presidency, questions that cannot be blamed on others or swept under the rug by an insincere sentence uttered at a press conference.
Kayleigh?
Well, I think the Obama campaign, former Obama campaign, current Clinton campaign, has selective memory, because the Obama campaign looked at Hillary Clinton when she circulated the photo of President Obama in native Kenyan dress and said, "This is dirty tricks." You also had the New York Times, who said the sleaziest moment in politics, this was a columnist, was when Hillary Clinton went on TV, went on 60 Minutes and said, "Barack Obama's not a Muslim as far as I know." This started with the Clinton campaign, maybe not birtherism itself, but certainly this othering of the president. So I understand now they're all on board. They want to continue President Obama's legacy, but they have very selective memory.
Bob?
Well, listen, for the first time in my life, I actually feel sorry for Donald Trump after that performance. But having said that, there's two things he has to be very careful of. One is the allegations that he's close to or associated with this alt-right racist group, and I don't believe he is. But if I were him, I'd walk away from that thing so fast, you'd never turn your over your shoulder and look behind you. The other thing is why he continues to engage the birther thing. He could have just said on Monday night, "I'm done with that. I said he was born in the United States, done." But he somehow, for some reason, cannot take any criticism at all. And when he talks to me, you talk about the Mideast. You know, this guy has a hard time finding the Middle East. He didn't come up with a single policy proposal. And the reason people are laughing at him around the country is I did a focus group, as you know, that I've been doing when I'm going in Ohio, and I'm telling you, I'll play you the tape recording after the election's over. These people laughed at him.
Bob, I want to stick to this issue, though, this issue of racism. Go ahead.
For a moment, because it's clear that Mrs. Clinton is trying to label all Trump supporters as racists, as sexist, as people who are a bad influence on little girls. I watched her at the debate where she stuck up her nose and in a very snooty, PC way disdained beauty contests. But there are a lot of Americans who like to watch beauty contests, who like to watch wrestling. And I remember Mrs. Clinton 20 years ago when she was much more of the prim lady defending her husband's infidelity. She was against gay marriage then. She was telling women they should always keep their hair looking nice. And now her views are different, but she expects everybody to be on her ideological PC timetable. And most Americans don't want a president who's dictating what's PC.
Let them respond. Bakari?
No, I really don't know how to respond to that. We meandered in a lot of different places, but I can say, just as a fact, no one saying that all Donald Trump supporters are racist by any stretch.
Only half of us.
No one's saying
Only
that
half.
no one's saying that all Donald Trump supporters are bigoted. Kaylee's
said
a friend
all
of mine. I would
Americans
never
are
say
racist.
I would not say that about Kaylee by any stretch
when did she say
whatsoever.
that?
At the debate, she said we all have racist
No, that's
tendencies.
not-
she said
that's
implicit
not-
bias.
We have implicit biases. And see, but Lieutenant Governor, that's the problem. I mean, people don't understand the fundamental difference between implicit bias and racism and institutional racism and systemic racism. We're trying to lift up the level of conversation and have these conversations between one another, but you have to at least understand and comprehend what we're talking about. No one is saying you're racist. No one is saying Kaylee's racist. But what we are saying is that you're supporting a candidate who has racist tendencies. And if you're okay with that, so be it. You have to sleep with that, not the rest of us.
You know, he dismissed very cavalierly that he and his father got off of that, of the fact they would not allow African Americans to rent their properties by saying, well, the Justice Department, we never admitted it. We paid a fine, but we never admitted it. That's ridiculous. Look, for Donald Trump right now, forget Hillary Clinton for a moment. You all have got a campaign here that's on the verge of imploding. You need to get this guy ready for a debate. If you think for a minute that debate last night, or on Monday night rather, did this guy any good, then you're not doing him a favor, you're not doing yourselves a favor.
Kaylee?
You got to tell him.
Bob, here's where I agree with you, Bob. I think, look, he needs to learn to play offense more, talk about the emails, talk about the Clinton Foundation. I'm not sure why the Clinton Foundation didn't come up, so I agree with you there. There are some things to learn. But the notion that this campaign is imploding, when just 2 days ago, John King was up there by the magic wall saying he has not one path to 270, he now has multiple paths that previously were not conceived. This is not a campaign on the verge of imploding. There are some things he needs to work on, yes.
But I actually think that Donald Trump did very well in that debate, and I'll tell you why.
What?
Mrs. Clinton had about 100 well-rehearsed answers. Everybody expected. She speaks for a living, right? Often for $500,000 a pop. So nobody expected she would do anything except be a smooth talker.
Okay.
But
okay.
Donald Trump
You
says,
say that Donald Trump did
where's
well.
the
Is that
beef?
you really
Stand by.
He failed to implement anything. or
That's
solve
a
any
perfect. That's a perfect tease. You think he did well? We're going to discuss that. So we're back now with my panel. So Betsy was saying, Bob Beckel, that she thinks that Donald Trump did a great job the other night, and your reaction was what? She said Hillary Clinton was too rehearsed, her answers were canned, and you said what?
I can't, Betsy. I mean, you're a wonderfully decent person. I cannot believe you believe that, but if you do, you do. Look, let's put it this way. I had a race for president, and we won the first debate. We clobbered our opponent, and in 5 minutes of the second debate, we were done. Now, it's possible for Trump to get back, but you're not going to make him a policy wonk overnight. He doesn't understand any of it. You're not going to change his temperament. He's 70 years old, but at least you could make him a nice guy and not be rude. You know that when I asked that question in Ohio last night, women's focus group, men's focus group, who would you attribute the word rude to? 85% of the women who are undecided said Trump. 72% of the men said Trump.
Let me address this issue of women, because that's come up a lot tonight. And I'm a mother. I have 3 daughters. I have 2 granddaughters. And we've been through the whole gamut on this issue that Hillary Clinton is now featuring, the weight issue, gaining weight, or on the other hand, eating disorders. She brought it up at the debate when she mentioned Ms. Machado. And of course, she's running an ad that shows young girls uncomfortably, painfully uncomfortably looking in the mirror. This to me is very disturbing. I have actually sat at the bedside with a child very close to death. And families like mine that have suffered so much on this issue are appalled that Mrs. Clinton is exploiting this into a political issue.
Betsy,
you can't be lower than that.
It was Donald Trump that raised it.
But no. But if you are
This
appalled
is
by
a
that,
terrible thing.
and you still, and if you are appalled by that, and you still support Donald Trump,
Yes,
that's a
because
fundamental
Donald
issue
Trump,
that you have.
Donald Trump
because we're
is
not.
not
She's
a
not.
sexist.
Madam Lieutenant Governor, I let you finish.
Yes, sir.
She's not just running an ad with women staring in a mirror. She's running an ad with women staring in a mirror with the words of Donald Trump playing over them. It's the words that come out of his mouth. It's the misogyny that comes out of his mouth. It's nothing more, nothing less. And if you want someone to stop making it an issue, tell Donald Trump to stop talking like that. A matter of fact, tonight, Newt Gingrich said that Ms. Machado was a problem because she gained 30 pounds. That's one of you all's top surrogates, not Hillary Clinton's. So you can't just paint this picture of Hillary Clinton being despicable when she's using Donald Trump's own words.
I'm not going to attack Ms. Machado. I feel sorry for her, and after this is all over, she's going to be the punchline in some joke, just like so many women who have been scarred by the Clintons, from Monica Lewinsky, who's now formed her own anti-bullying foundation. So I don't want to touch Ms. Machado. I hope that she's not harmed by all of this.
If you guys could do one thing,
Betsy, I'm sitting here listening to you, and you know we got the talking points from the Clinton
Hey, Betsy, could I just
listen? Hang on. We got the talking points from the Trump people, and Betsy, you're going right down in line of what they said today to bring up Monica Lewinsky, to turn the issue into
believe me, they didn't tell me to bring up my family. And the fact is that so many families across this nation see that ad and think, how can they be taking this very sensitive personal issue experienced by people all along the political spectrum and turning it into a political ad?
It has Donald Trump's own words.
It was Donald Trump's own words. Betsy, listen. One of the things that has to happen if you hope you can stay in this race is that Donald Trump has got to stop making the case against Hillary Clinton and start telling people why he can be president. If anybody came out of that debate who thought he could be president, then, and if you think of it anywhere near a majority did, you're wrong. Yeah. I've been there. I've done it.
I've been wanting to talk.
Right now, you are on the edge.
Okay.
And this guy has got to get manners, and he's going to have to convince people.
Well, I can tell you that many viewers did not like to be told what's politically correct, and that's the attitude Mrs. Clinton had in the debate.
So listen, I want to talk about this. This is what Howard Dean tweeted. He said, notice Trump sniffing all the time, Coke user. Is he sinking to a level of conspiracy theorist, and, should the Clinton campaign call him out for this?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, to speculate that someone is using a drug, and we know Howard Dean's a medical doctor, that is patently absurd. We're talking about Donald Trump, who doesn't even drink. And you have the Clinton campaign, who despised the conspiracy theories with regard to her health, which were not floated by the Trump campaign. The Trump campaign came on and said, we wish her well, God bless her. They didn't send out any tweets feeding into that narrative. Well, now the Clinton campaign has, because this is one of her top surrogates.
Well, but he did say, she doesn't, I don't think she has the stamina to be, and then made a joke today saying,
But stamina isn't her health. He's making the point that he's on the campaign trail twice as much as Clinton.
Go ahead, Bob. Bob, I mean, you can't defend that remark.
I've been a recovering cocaine addict for 17 years. I haven't used the drug. And I can tell you without any question that Donald Trump is not using cocaine. I would have picked it up, and a lot of the rest of us who fell victim to that drug would have picked it up. I think Howard Dean, as much as I love him, went way overboard. He ought to apologize, and they ought to move on. And the Clinton campaign probably ought to do that as well. That's a very serious allegation to make. And believe me, for those of us who suffered from that, it is nothing to be taken lightly.
Yeah, I think we should end there. Thank you very much.
Thanks, Don.
I appreciate it. That is it for us. Thank you so much for joining us, and I will see you right back here tomorrow. And if you miss any of our CNN Presidential Town Hall, America's Military and the Commander-in-Chief, you can see the whole thing started in just a moment.